The NBA starts the season on Tuesday night. And it is the return of the NBA on NBC. The little so we got that coming up on tap, man. There's gonna be some good ball games there on Tuesday night. I think the Warriors play at 6:30. And I can't remember who has the 9 o'clock tip-off game. So it's gonna be exciting, man. A new season brings about new conversations. And it also means that it's always going to be about who is the early contenders for championships in the East and the West. And that's the question that I pose for you, Elijah. Who do you believe is going to be your early contenders in the West and the East? 1-1. Who you think coming out of the West? Who do you think is coming out of the East?
My 3 teams coming out of the West, no particular order. OKC, you got to give them respect. Reigning champion.
No, you can't get 3. I just thought about that. No, you get 1 because only one team win the championship. No, 1.
Well, I don't know. Well, out of the West, all right. You know what? Out of the West, here's my sleeper. I think that a lot of people not looking at them because it's really between these two. But I want to go. I'm gonna go Dallas. I'm gonna go Dallas. Only because they moved AD back to the 4. He don't play the 5. I think they don't put a lot of pressure on Cooper, but I think Cooper Flag could really ball. Like, and I heard that he was starting at point guard. So moving him to a guard of letting him dish like a Magic Johnson type. Is he a Magic Johnson-esque player? I don't know because we know him for scoring. I never really seen him facilitate as much. But it's interesting because that's gonna be a lengthy lineup. Like defensively, they're long, and then they can stretch the floor with any guy, with Clay, with Cooper, with Anthony. Gafford's at the bottom. I think D'Angelo Russell coming off the bench. So Dallas is going to be an interesting team to watch, and Jason Kidd is one of my favorite coaches. So I'm gonna go Dallas. It's between them and the Clippers, but I'm gonna go Dallas for that one as an early favorite. And then in the East, I don't know. Tyrese Halliburton's off for the Pacers. Jason Tatum is not coming back most likely. Giannis don't even know if he want to be in Milwaukee. Uh, I believe in Donovan, and then when you believe in Donovan, he let me down. Like that's like one of my worst FanDuel picks. So I'm gonna have to go with the Knicks only because I'm a Knicks fan. Like I'll be honest with
Knickerbockers.
you. I have to go to the Knicks because I'm a Knicks fan. And this is me being like truthful. Like of course I would love to see the Knicks go there, but I don't know if they'll really. I don't know what they really look like because it's a whole new scheme, a whole new system with Mike Brown at the helm. We got bench players with Jordan Clarkson on the bench coming in, and we'll see how that works with him. And I think Michael Brogdon signed with us for 2 days and then decided to retire. So I don't even know what was the reason with signing the paper. But I'm just interested to see how that worked with him, man, because I think they could do some good things. I think Josh Hart is coming off the bench as well. So I think with us utilizing probably 11, 10 to 11 man rotation, I think we'll look a little different. So I'm gonna go with the Knicks, and that's mainly because a lot of teams are hurt. So I'm gonna go with the Knicks.
I got you, man. I know I said in the pre-part of the show, in the West that I was looking at OKC because it is their world, but as I look at things again, I'm gonna lean more towards the Denver Nuggets. I think that OKC definitely will be in contention, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make it back to the Western Conference Finals. But Nikola Jokic is gonna have something to say about SGA and all of them other boys because he's looking like, I know you did what you did to get your MVP, brother, but I'm that boy. I'm that one. I play this methodical, slow tempo, very fundamental style basketball, and I'm going to give you a smooth 30, 20, and 10, maybe even 15, depending on how I'm feeling. I'm going to give it to you real simple, real slow, and I'm going to lead this team to a championship. He's done it before. He's won multiple MVPs. He's a multiple-time All-Star, and he has pieces around him. One of the things that I look at with a lot of the teams just around the league in general is a lot of their big three cores. Like this is the big three era, without a doubt. Like this is the time where if you don't have three main pieces, you're not even giving yourself a chance to compete. You got to have your superstar. You got to have somebody to complement him. And then you need somebody that when those two guys are having an off night that can pick it up too. And the Denver Nuggets have that, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray. Obviously, they would like to have back that series that they had against Minnesota. They would like to, be back in the conversation again and redeem themselves. And I think Jokic is going to be able to lead his team to be able to do that. He's always been a dominant presence throughout his career, and I think he's going to be able to continue to build off of that throughout the season. But like I said, I would not be surprised if OKC comes out the gate and comes out swinging and finds themselves back as a number 1 seed, number 2 seed, and goes on a deep playoff run. But for now, early on, before the season kicks off or tips off, that is, I'm taking the Denver Nuggets out of the West. And in the East, I'm going to have to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know you said that, it's hard to believe in Donovan Mitchell, but I believe Spider is going to come out there, man, and is going to flip this thing around because they had all the pieces together to be as successful as they were last season to get that number 1 seed. And they just ran into a very, very hot Indiana team. Sometimes it ain't even about being the best team. Sometimes it's about who's the hottest. Like, if you a hot basketball team, man, that's tough because in the game of basketball, like, teams can score in bunches because of the way that the 3 ball is utilized. Bro, 3 full baskets, that's a 12-0 run easily. And so if you're not careful, you find yourselves losing games that on paper, you come in and you say, we're not supposed to lose this game. This is a basketball game that we're supposed to come out and win. And I think now that Cleveland has experienced that, now that they've seen that, now they're coming out and they're saying, we can't take nobody lightly. We can't take no prisoners. If we get our opportunity, we need to put our foot on people's necks and we need to go ahead and dominate and win these basketball games. And like you said, because there are so many teams that are banged up and or young in the East, because they have the experience in making, a number 1 seed push and getting into the second round of the playoffs, because they have that experience in doing that, they're going to be a little more ahead of the curve to be able to know what it takes. All right, we know what it took to get to the second round. If we can add on top of that work that we already did, then we can get ourselves to the Eastern Conference Finals. And when we can get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and we can get to the NBA championship. If we can get to the NBA championship, we got a chance to be able to win it. So I got Cleveland coming out of the East, and I got Denver coming out of the West. And I think that would make for a very, very exciting NBA championship game. The West, I think, is very, very crowded with a lot of talent over there. And I think that it's going to be a tough run, but it's going to be an interesting NBA basketball season, man. So it's going to be definitely exciting. And we'll be keeping our eyes on it. Like I said, the NBA tips off on Tuesday night. We're recording this episode on Monday morning. So on tomorrow, we have the Houston Rockets taking on the OKC Thunder at 6:30. So they got the 6:30 tip. And then it's the Lakers and the Warriors in the 9 o'clock tip. So I had it flipped around. So the Rockets and the Thunder going at it to open the NBA season. And then the Warriors and the Lakers that night. We know LeBron James will not be playing that night because he probably is going to be out for the foreseeable future, trying to figure things out with whatever that injury is. I don't know if it's like a butt muscle or something going on with him. He got old man injuries going on.
That's old age. That's all it is. Old age.
So
man,
we'll keep our eyes on that, man.
He's trying to play 62 games this year. He just trying to chill.
Hey, look, I understand. What's the point of it? If I can get hot, like I just said, bro, you don't need to go 82-0. You need to be playing well enough on the back half of the season. You need to get into the playoff picture. You don't need to be in the play-in tournament. You need to get into the playoff picture as a 1 through 4, 1 through 5. Get in there, get hot, and go on the run. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. So we'll keep our eyes on that, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be fun to watch what comes out of this NBA season.